Yesterday was the golden era of education in Nigeria. It was when our schools had decent infrastructure, good teachers, and quality education was the hallmark of our educational institutions. In the last 35 years, quality education in Nigerian schools have seen a decline. Learning environment has become inadequate to support the emergence of ambitious graduates. The stark reality is evident in diminished classrooms, libraries, laboratories, and the abysmal failures recorded in SSCE results.
The condition of those schools now is, to say the least, deplorable.
I feel embarrassed. I am ashamed and I weep for this nation.
I know that the schools are in a state of dilapidation.
Everything is dilapidated.
Unity schools are no longer what they used to be.
In those days, it was a thing of prestige to send your child to a unity school. People used to compete for unity school, but now it doesn't seem to be the case.
You go to a school, you find a dormitory, not a single window. All the windows are broken, all the doors are not there, and children still sleep there. So the issue of safety is just out of it.
We had no bathrooms, we had no toilets, poorly lit classrooms, horrible food.
I'm seeing the quality of the graduates coming out is not as it was, say, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Student-to-teacher ratio has grown significantly, so you have many more students in a class. Their facilities are under enormous pressures.
They're underfunded. They can no longer boast of having the best teachers, and the camaraderie that we had when we were growing up then seems to be absent.
I hear wonderful stories of how in those days federal government colleges were the best thing that happened to mankind, and I wish we could have something like that back in our time.
So they are needing help.
And that is what is, making us in USOSA to do what we are doing today, to make sure that one day those schools will be restored to what they used to be in the past. The Unity School Students Association is an advocacy group for the entire 104 Unity schools in the country.
The first thing that brought us together actually was the attempt by the Federal Ministry of Education to sell the schools in 2006. When we learnt of this, we came together and did a memo to government to say no.
And the whole idea, now that people are threatening the unity schools, to be able to form a formidable civil society group that is persuasive enough to let people know the benefits of keeping these unity schools running. So I welcome the idea of USOSA. I'm a supporter of USOSA, and we must find ways to sustain USOSA.
We benefited immensely from the system that we went through at that time.
So I really had a good experience.
For me, it was a priceless experience.
Whatever I am today is a product of that experience in Federal Government College.
The principal, the teachers, basically helped shape who I am today.
The teachers had this spirit. They had this determination to impact knowledge.
Excellence was the hallmark for us when I was there from 1975 to 1980. The value that the school, that the students attached to excellence is something that I remember very, very vividly.
It gave me a chance to meet people I never knew in my life. People who didn't speak my language, people who didn't look like me, who had different backgrounds, who worshipped differently.
I heard different things about other people's way of life. I saw we are all the same.
Poor kids, rich kids, Muslims, Christians, atheists, Northerners, Southerners, everybody mixed up together, made to live together, coexist together for several months on end.
It was very exciting, very, very exciting. And that has changed my perspectives in life completely.
I couldn't have been anything I am today if not Federal Government College Warri.
Wherever I am today, my foundation started from USOSA.
The establishment of unity schools in this country is one of the best things that has ever happened to Nigeria.
The Unity Schools All Student Association, USOSA, felt compelled and decided to take a stake by inspiring, recognizing and supporting excellence in the educational system through a strategic framework, hence the Education Endowment Fund.
The USOSA Endowment Fund is primarily to raise funding which will be used to improve our schools.
We need funding to ensure that we have world-class facilities. We need funding to provide training support to the teachers, because you can't give what you don't have, and the teachers must continue to renew and upgrade themselves.
Yeah, the fund basically is going to be used for advocacy.
Advocacy will put us in a good state with government. Collaboration. So that whereas the schools are retained and owned by government, the national associations that make up the Unity Schools All Students Association would now have, an opportunity to intervene, to support.
We feel a country like Nigeria cannot do without unity schools. And the experience we had, we want other Nigerians to have that experience, so that you continue to have a stream of detribalized Nigerians who will see every Nigerian as a brother.
What I'd like to see is a lot more energy and dynamism amongst the students, that quest for excellence, that keen interest in developing themselves and being the best they can be.
When this kind of intervention we are planning in the endowment fund comes in handy, it can supplement what government is doing and other stakeholders.
It's not going to be a one-time thing. It will be an enduring thing. Every year, hopefully, we'll have a fundraising process, raise some funding, and just keep that argument alive, and also constantly complement whatever the federal government is doing in improving our schools.
We all know that the education sector in this country has been neglected for a very long time. The allocation from the federal government to the education sector is relatively low.
And clearly, the government cannot help these schools singularly. So there is need to support by the old students, alumni organizations, by well-meaning individuals, but we need to harness ourselves and pull in the same direction.
Agitating and advocating, we have been planning, we have been marshalling ideas, but the only thing we lack is the resources to put in place our objectives.
We'd like to request on all those who are lovers of Nigeria to join hands together to ensure that we bring about a change in the education sector in Nigeria.
I do believe that our children are our future, and that if we invest today, the returns will be very, very high. So I really hope that there will be much more of an emphasis on ensuring that we conserve this laudable initiative for this country.
We're going to see that the healthcare, pension, and the general welfare of teachers from the secondary, tertiary, and even going back to the primary school levels are all going to be catered for. We're going to make teachers feel that they are appreciated, they are wanted.
We have put down everything on paper. So if we get these resources, we will hit the ground running.
So there will be a body of trustees that is very well recognized, people of the highest integrity possible, who will oversee that implementation of those projects. There will be a monitoring mechanism. There will be an evaluation process of evaluating how are the results of the utilization of the funds. How well have we done? Are the results up to par? Are they below par? What can be done to improve it?
I can assure you that as a member of the Board of Trustees and on behalf of other trustees of the association, we will ensure that all funds that we realize from this dinner are applied for the purpose for which we have stated.
The issue of education is not a problem for government a problem for USOSA alone. It's a problem for everybody. Every Nigerian will contribute their quota in putting education on the level that it deserves.
I think the whole idea of unity schools should be encouraged.
And therefore, with the great successful people in public and private sector, certainly they should be able to provide support, financial support, so that we can restore the facilities in all of the unity schools.
If you have, it's more blessed to give than to receive.
If you enjoyed it while in the unity colleges, then you owe it to the next generation to have something better than what you had. And if you did enjoy it, we also have a duty, a role to play to make sure that others coming in will have something better than we experienced.
Having benefited immensely from the unity schools, would be able to make a change. And it is my prayer and desire that in my own little way, I will try to make that change.
For those that are already stakeholders with us and partnering with us, I plead with them to please support us in raising funds and in all our endeavors.
Well, I'd like to make a very, very passionate appeal to all of us, not just those who went to federal government colleges, but also the general public indeed, that we need to join hands together. We need to have a much stronger, much better equipped education system in this country, and that requires us to put hands together to raise funding, to improve the schools, get better teaching aids, have better trained teachers, and just basically have better incentives for our teachers. So I'm making an appeal to all of us to please dip into our pockets, bring out something, no matter how small. Nothing is too small. Whatever you can afford to give, please give it for God's sake, and let's try and improve our schools. Thank you.